Good evening, everyone. Before we officially start the board meeting, I'm going to turn it over to Superintendent Merritt to lead us through a moment of silence.
Thank you, President Wilson, and I'd just like to take this moment to honor the life of our dear colleague and friend, Ms. Kristen Hennessy, our longtime Director of Food and Nutrition Services. Kristen lost her battle with cancer this weekend. Kristen has just been such a beloved member of our staff for decades. She has touched the lives of so many students, so many staff, so many families. Everyone who knows Kristen knows her line, and her line is always a well-fed child is a child that is ready to learn. And she did everything within her power to ensure that every child had the ability to have quality lunches, breakfasts. She advocated not just here in P-CCS, but across the state and across the nation. Her legacy will continue to live on in the students and the lives that she has touched. Please continue to keep her family and her friends in your thoughts during this difficult time, but we want to continue to embrace her as our real-life superhero. So I would ask you to join me in a moment of silence for Kristen. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Merritt. With that, I will officially call the meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. I'm Sean Wilson, President of P-CCS School Board. I'm going to ask my colleagues to introduce themselves, and we'll actually start with our youth board members.
Hello, everyone. Josh Patterson, sophomore at Plymouth High School.
Hello, everyone. Saeed Pawar, junior at Canton High School.
And we're both Student Voice and Action co-chairs.
I'm Judy Westrow. Thank you for coming out tonight.
Hi, I'm Patrick Keogh. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Good evening. I'm Anupam Chiksadhu. Thanks for being here.
Good evening, everybody. Lauren Christensen, welcome. Hi, I'm Cheryl Picard, and glad to see you all here tonight.
Patty McQuinn, thank you for coming out tonight. Exciting to see all the kids here.
All right, Superintendent Merritt.
Good evening and welcome. I'd like to begin by introducing my assistant, Ms. Diane Robertson. We want to thank her for being here and taking the minutes for us. I'd like the remaining members of CORE to introduce themselves to the beginning of Mr. Brady.
Thank you, Dr. Merritt. Good evening, everyone. Nick Brandon, Executive Director of Communications and Marketing, and welcome.
Good evening, Kurt Tiskowitz, Assistant Superintendent for Student Services. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Debbie Piaz. I'm the Chief Finance and Operations Officer. Welcome.
Good evening, Beth Rail, Chief Academic and Innovation Officer. Thanks for being here tonight.
Good evening, Shantae Langford, Chief Human Resource Officer. Welcome.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Liz Vartanian Gibbs, Assistant Superintendent, Student and Family Engagement.
All right, Saeed, will you lead us through the Pledge of Allegiance? First up is action item 240912, adoption of agenda, approval of consent agenda. Dr. Merritt, I'm sorry.
Mr. President, I move that we adopt the agenda and approve the consent agenda, action item 240912.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Dr. Merritt, can you walk us through?
This evening, our consent agenda consists of human resources transactions since our last time together. We have new hires, leaves, resignations, and retirements for your consideration, as well as the approval of minutes from our regular meeting, that's on September the 12th, 2023. And we have some out-of-country field trips for your consideration. These were reviewed in the last SPA meeting.
Any questions? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed say no. All right, passes 7-0. We'll turn it over to Ms. Langford to walk us through.
All right. Thank you, President Wilson. So tonight we have 3 new hires. When I call your name, if you will stand, please. I have Ashley Forrester, who's an ELL teacher at Discovery. Are you here, Ashley? Yes. Suzanne Lewis, who will be a behavior support specialist at Byrd. And then I have Holly Merjeski, who will be a behavior interventionist at Canton. Welcome. If you'll just hold off a few minutes, I have a little treat for you that I'll give to you in the hallway here. And then this evening, we also have some retirements to celebrate. We have Donna Hensel, who was the PSEP registrar at Plymouth. She's been with us since October 5th of 1992, and she will be retiring effective November 30th of 2023. We also have Renee Schmokel, who is our ASD coach for Plymouth and Goals, and she's retiring effective September 29th of 2023. So we wish both of them well. That concludes my piece.
All right, thank you. All right, well, welcome. And now we'll move on to celebrating success with Secretary Sadhu.
We always talk about this being the highlight of every meeting. Well, we are in for a real treat with multiple awards. So this evening, the Board of Education will present several awards. The first one is the Extra Miler Award for Dawn Schaller, one of our truly outstanding E.J. McClendon Center staff members. And then we will celebrate several members of the Gallimore Elementary School community in recognition of an absolutely wonderful accomplishment for our district. If you haven't heard yet, because it's all over the news, Gallimore Elementary was once again named a 2023 National Blue Ribbon School by the U.S. Department of Education. I think that alone is a round of applause. Let's start with Dawn Schaller, our P-CCS Employee Benefits Supervisor. Dawn is a really important member of the Human Resources Department, and her expertise and efforts impact every employee in our district. She consistently takes the time to share information regarding benefits and options with staff, and Dawn always addresses questions and concerns quickly, thoroughly, and with a positive and helpful spirit. If Dawn says she's going to do something, she does it immediately and she does it well. Dawn works hard to do the research necessary to give the employees of our P-CCS district the best options for health care. She visits schools each year to answer questions and help staff members understand the options that are available for them. She listens to each person's individual situation and gives specific information regarding what plan might best suit them. P-CCS retiree Cassandra Johnson nominated Dawn and is here with us to talk about a few things. And well, here's what she said about her. Every time that I've contacted Dawn or have been around Dawn, she is upbeat, friendly, and personable. Even when I call her with dumb questions, when there are no dumb questions, I'm sure she's answered a million times, but she's still so nice and helpful, and anyone could be. We are so lucky to have her. I just wish I could take her with me to help navigate the new waters of retirement health care. Yes, we need that help. So at this time, I would like to invite Shantae Lanford, our P-CCS Chief Human Resource Officer, to talk more about Dawn's contribution to our HR team.
I'm so excited. So this is truly the perfect award to describe Dawn Schaller. If I am ever asked to describe Dawn, at the top of the list, it would be she is a person who always goes the extra mile. She has a tremendous knowledge base of benefit plans and everything that we do, that she does in the benefits office, and has a sincere compassion for helping employees through sometimes very sensitive situations. She does it with care and grace, and people walk away always feeling better. Last year, she worked very hard to implement an employee assistance program to assist employees with mental health, finances, legal help, etc. The program is thriving, and employees are happy to have this additional service. She never desires recognition and is one of the most humble people that I know. We are grateful to have her as part of our HR team. Dawn is a true extra miler and deserving of this award. Congratulations.
On behalf of the Board of Education, I present Dawn Schaller with the Mary Beth Carroll Extra Mile Award for consistently going the extra mile to support all employees of Plymouth Canton Community Schools. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you so much. Actually, this month, September 6th was my 17th year here with Plymouth Canton.
Wow.
I love my job here. I love the employees. I'm very passionate about what I do, and I really appreciate Carol Ann nominating me. I was surprised when Nick called me in his office, and I was like, oh my gosh, are you serious? But yes, I love what I do, and I hope what I do for the employees helps them with their benefits, with leaves of absence, with things, that they don't need to worry about. They're here to, educate our children. So I'm hoping that the services I provide our employees help them along the way. So I greatly appreciate this. Thank you so much.
Our second set of awards tonight will go to the outstanding students and staff of Gallimore Elementary School. Gallimore has been named 2023 National Blue Ribbon School and was recognized as one of the country's highest performing schools. Gallimore is one of 353 public schools in the United States, and there are more than 98,000 public schools in the U.S., and only 11 schools in Michigan receive the Blue Ribbon designation. It's the second time Gallimore has been named a Blue Ribbon School, and its first recognition was in 2017. At this time, we would like to give the following awards in recognition of this amazing honor. I'd like all of the Gallimore staff and students to come up as we do this. So first, we present the Gallimore student body with an honorary Stars Award for their hard work and commitment to Gallimore Elementary School that students show each and every day. So let's give the students a round of applause. So I'm going to invite the students to say a few words first before I move on to the rest. Let me get the awards straight. Wait, Dawn, I think I gave you the wrong one. Thank you. All right, students, this is yours. So would you like to say a few words? All right, coming up.
Hi, I'm Ciora. And I'm Eva. And we are fifth graders at Gallimore Elementary School. There are many reasons why we like being at Gallimore. One opportunity we have is to do lots of different jobs in the classroom and the school. For example, some students are safeties, others are part of the morning announcements or the student leadership team.
Gallimore is a great place to go to school because I have friends who have similar interests. For example, I have met lots of kids who like helping others just like I do. These are just two reasons why we love Gallimore. Next, we have some students who like to share what they like about Gallimore.
Hi, we are fourth graders at Gallimore. My name is Eli.
And my name is Casey.
And I'm Desmond. I feel like the staff at Gallimore are really respectful to the students. They are really respectful of my diabetes, and they are always there to support me.
I like Gallimore because of the independence I get with my learning. My teachers give me time to work at my own pace. There's a mix of partner work, whole group instruction, and independent learning time. We can do what's best for us.
I feel comfortable at Gallimore and not isolated from others. I feel included and like I'm learning at the same pace as my classmates. These are only a few of many reasons that are special about many things that are special about Gallimore Elementary School. Thank you for recognizing Gallimore today.
We also would like to present the entire Gallimore Elementary staff with an honorary Mary Beth Carroll Extra Mile Award for their never-ending dedication and passion for student success. Lastly, we recognize the importance of family-school relationships by presenting the Gallimore Elementary School community, including all families, alumni, and supporters, with an honorary VIP for volunteers who make a difference in the Plymouth Canton Community Schools. And now I would like to invite Gallimore Principal Amy Bell and the members of the student body who already just came to the podium and share more about Gallimore Schools and their fantastic honor. So, come on up.
I
I'm here also with 3 staff members from Gallimore, so they're going to also share a few words. So thank you for taking the time tonight to honor the students, staff, and families of Gallimore. We're excited to be named as one of the National Blue Ribbon Schools for 2023. As you know, Gallimore is a unique school. We have students who represent over 19 different schools in our community, including each one of our Plymouth Canton Community Elementary schools. And to us, that means the most because we represent our entire district. And so an award like this is a reflection of the work of all of the educators in our district, and that's really exciting for us. As the principal at Gallimore, I'm really honored to be a part of this school community. One thing that I really appreciate is that our team works collaboratively together to help each child achieve their greatest potential. So while academics are a component of every school day, we really focus a great deal of our attention on creating a school community where students are seen, valued, and heard. Every day we celebrate the small successes and acknowledge the little steps that students are taking to really be their best selves and to achieve their personal goals. So as you know, our students are amazing. They are supportive of one another. They're curious, and they're just really active community members. They really bring the best ideas to the school, and then we just help them make that happen. And our families are partners with us. We really couldn't do all of the after-school activities and school initiatives without the support of our families and their commitment to developing the whole child. And then, of course, our staff. They make it a priority to get to know the students and connect with them in really authentic ways. And we really work together to support the growth of each learner. So we feel like this National Blue Ribbon Award is a reflection of our purposeful efforts as an entire school community, but also a reflection of our Plymouth Canton Community Schools. So thank you for honoring us tonight, and I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Katie.
Thank you. My name is Jamie Katie, and I teach 4th grade at Gallimore. Something that's unique, as Mrs. Bell had said, is that our school is composed of lots of different students from all over the community. Our student population is diverse. Our students speak 18 different languages inside of their homes, which is pretty incredible. We feel like the experiences our students have outside of school enhance the conversations that we have inside of our classrooms, and they really help us to create compassionate learning communities within the walls of Gallimore. So we are really grateful to be recognized and appreciate the support of the district. Thank you.
My name is Krista Jewett, and I teach 3rd grade at Gallimore. It is such a pleasure to be a part of Gallimore Elementary. Our principal, Amy Bell, has a very strong vision, which has positively impacted all that we do. She also consistently works hard to make the best decisions for students, their families, and teachers. Along with academics, our school community is focused on social and emotional goals like making connections, which build a sense of belonging, and we work hard to honor the uniqueness of each student. Fostering higher level thinking skills and having voice and choice are really important at our school. I am inspired as a teacher because of our precious students, our wonderful families. I love my colleagues, our terrific leadership, and the school climate at Gallimore. We appreciate the time to share about our school. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Christy Berry. I teach 5th grade at Gallimore. To add on to what Krista said about the climate at school, we had a guest at our building, and he said this afternoon that Gallimore is one of the friendliest schools that he walks into, and that made me really proud. As a group, we'd be remiss not to express our gratitude for our exceptional principal, Amy Bell. She has an unwavering dedication and leadership, and her leadership has driven Gallimore's success. She embodies the spirit of a servant leader. She supports teachers. She knows every student's name, and she encourages all of their ideas. The teachers, our dynamic teaching team continually seeks innovative ways to reach and engage students. With the support of our P-CCS teaching and learning and curriculum departments, our educators at times have the autonomy and to tailor district curriculum to meet the student needs in our classrooms. When we have this trust, it empowers our teachers to cater to the gifted minds that thrive in our classrooms. Gallimore hosts 3 distinct programs. We have a specialized classroom for students with autism.
and that fosters and supports an inclusive environment. Our preschools ignite a love of learning from an early age, and of course the TAG program caters to our gifted students. Though TAG and special ed classrooms function separately from the preschool, our populations often interact through special projects, and it's really magical to watch. Like Amy said, we want to recognize the teachers across the district who prepared the students really well for the rigor in our classrooms. That includes parapros and school staff from all across the district. But yet the true magic lies in the incredible creativity and the curiosity our students bring to classrooms each day. You guys. It's their enthusiasm for learning, their boundless imaginations, their insatiable hunger for knowledge that sets our school apart. Walk into any classroom at any time and you will feel the buzzing wondering. And I know several of you have come into our classrooms, mine. You'll hear substantive conversation and you'll walk out more curious than you entered. Gallimore School is a place of learning, and it's where inclusivity and unquenchable thirst for knowledge converge. Our National Blue Ribbon is a testament to the dedication of educators, the support of our community, and the limitless potential of our students. Thank you for celebrating this journey with us.
I have one for the community. So is there anyone from the community here? Can you all come up, please? Come on up. You're part of the celebration. Would any of you like to say a few words?
My name is Dawn Geisman. I have the unique position of I used to actually work at Gallimore with this amazing staff and leadership. If I've met any of you in the community, I've probably sung their praises. I can't say enough how amazing this school actually is. So I just wanted to step forward and say, as a parent with a different hat on, once again, Amy Bell, her leadership, her support of staff, of students, of family is amazing. That's the love of learning, the love of students. It's emotional, right? So I'm really thankful for that. So thank you all so much.
Hello everyone, Kyle Monahan here with a family tonight. We're new to the area and this school is amazing. Opportunities like this do not exist elsewhere. Thank you for what you've provided our families.
On behalf of the Board of Education, I would like to congratulate the entire community of Gallimore Elementary. So this is for the community.
All right. All right, so we're on to board committee reports and action. First up is the president's report. Just one item. We did have a board meeting yesterday here in this room. It was also a workshop where we focused on establishing board goals for 2023-2024 school year. Those goals will be updated and posted to the website in the next next couple weeks. And that's the only item I have for the president's report. So much excitement out there. I want to be out there. Next up is, we'll actually skip because Member Sadu is out there. So we'll jump to policy with Member McCoy.
So we actually met tonight, and we got actually quite a bit done in our quest to review all policies within the next couple years. So we are in the 5,000 which relate to students. So we are working our way through those. If anybody had seen a previous agenda, there were policies on student use of technology and staff use of technology. And some of the board members had additional questions on those. So we have taken those off the agenda, and we will be getting our questions answered. So if anybody has additional questions, get those in, and Mr. Salzer will be addressing those for us. So, and our next meeting is October 24th. There was something, it printed October 31st, but we're not meeting that day. It's October 24th, 5:30. If you want to attend, it is in this building. You go all the way to the back till you can't go anywhere else, and we are in the collaboration space, and everybody is welcome.
Thank you, Member McCoy. On to F&O with Treasurer Kehoe.
Thank you. We met last Thursday, September 21st, and we reviewed one of the presentations that's on the agenda this evening, the band room addition as well as the Salem operable partitions. There's a lot of work that's happening within the district around the bond program. For those of you that are not familiar with the bond program, it's the 2020 bond program. It's a 10-year bond program of investments in every facility across the district. And for those of you that are watching at home and maybe here in the audience, if you want to learn more about the bond program, you go to the district website, about P-CCS, and on the left side, there's a whole section there on 2020 bond, and you can see by school what are the additions and what are the programs that we're considering as part of that process, and you can understand where those things are at. We also discuss all these things in our F&O meeting, and we review them as they come up for consideration to go out to bid. We review them when they come back from bid to make sure that we understand the bids and the design processes, and all of those things get vetted through the F&O committee before coming before the full board, which is what the band room edition is coming up this evening. Our next meeting is Thursday, October 5th. It's here in this room at 5 p.m. We welcome the community to attend.
All right. We'll go to student voice in action, and I'll ask Mr. Patterson and Saeed to walk us through.
So at our last meeting, we discussed how we were going to get new members to join the committee and get more diverse student population.
And our upcoming meeting will be on October 18th.
We hope to see you there.
Perfect. All right, and then lastly, SPA with Member Sadu.
We have not met since our last board meeting, but we do have a meeting coming up next Wednesday at 4 o'clock. I'm sorry, October 4th at 5 p.m. in this room.
Thank you. Next up is Superintendent's Report.
Thank you, President Wilson. Guided by our dynamic plan, our district is proud to celebrate our community's diversity and varied cultures and heritage of our student body. With that, I'm so proud that the schools around P-CCS are continuing our tradition of inclusion as we celebrate National Hispanic Heritage Month. Hispanic Heritage Month was created to recognize the achievements and contributions of Hispanic American champions who have inspired others to achieve success. For more information and resources on this celebration, please check out the most recent edition of the PCCS DEI newsletter, and that can be found on the PCCS official website. With student and family engagement, and I always appreciate our Assistant Superintendent of Student and Family Engagement, Dr. Liz Vartanian Gibbs, I'd like to highlight and invite our families to take part in one of the many outstanding programs and events that are being presented this school year. The department offers workshops and events every month that are designed to do everything to help parents support their students' learning. Scheduled events over the next months include a flu shot clinic on Monday, October the 9th. That's from 3:30 to 6:30. That's going to be at Canton High School. There's going to be a pair of workshops for parents to learn more about online learning platforms. That's going to be on Wednesday, October the 11th. We have a family presentation night on Monday, October the 16th. That's going to be at 7 p.m. in the Penn Theater. This is going to be on managing emotions and responses to difficult feelings. And finally, our annual Fall into Fitness event will take place on Tuesday, October the 17th at 5:30. This will be at the PCEP Varsity Field. So for more information on the work and supports and opportunities that the Student and Family Engagement Office provides, please visit their website on the webpage on the district's website. Finally, I want to give a shout out to Ms. Langford and her team in the Human Resources Department for working hard to create and hire champions for our district. They're going to have their own job fair. PCC is hosting our own on Wednesday, October the 25th. This will be from 3:30 to 6 p.m. at Canton High School cafeteria. Majority of our classrooms are filled, but we're still looking to fill some support positions. paraprofessionals, security officers, extended day, food service, crossing guards, and other hourly positions. If you heard the celebration tonight with Gallimore and the full community of support, it takes a village to raise our children, and we appreciate our employees for being a part of that village. So we want to open our arms and invite others to join this team of champions. So again, this job fair will take place on October the 25th from 3:30 to 6 p.m. And that concludes my report today.
Thank you, Dr. Merritt. On to finance and operation with Deborah Piaz.
Thank you. Tonight we have with us Mr. Gassman from McCarthy Smith and Mr. Dinkaloo from TMP to go over the award bids for bid package HS2A, Plymouth High School Band Room Edition, in addition to the operable partitions. This sealed bids were opened on September the 6th. There were 21 bid divisions, including both those projects, and they're going to go through the bid results as well as the details behind the bid award. This item was presented at the Finance and Operations Committee, as Mr. Kehoe mentioned, last Thursday, September 21st. Mr. Gespin and Mr. Dinkloo. Oh, and Joe Ross is here as well. Joe Ross is with McCarthy Smith as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us. As Treasurer Kehoe kind of announced, we'll be presenting the awards for bid package HS2A for the band room edition, as well as the operable partitions for the Salem Theater. And there's a couple slides behind there. If we could start there. Do we want to go through the slides, or do you just go through the award
I
recommendation?
don't think we actually have the slides in the deck, so
Fair
that's
enough.
one of the things I think we're missing those. So maybe if we can just describe
We
what
will
the band,
audible.
the history and the work that we're doing for this band room and how it serves the community.
Excellent. So again, this is a two-parter. So we'll start with the Salem Theater. Salem Theater was a previous bond project, part of the 2019.
Not the theater, right?
Or so the 2019 theater was part of the 29 bond project. As part of this bid package, we're including the operable partitions that was part of that project. During the course of that time, the discussion was brought up to add operable partitions back to that space, and thought it best to combine that with a bid opportunity such as the band room that we're bringing forth today, so we can get competitive proposals on, and that's what we're bringing forth in front of you as well. In addition to that, the Plymouth High School Band Room Edition, it's located at Plymouth High School. Obviously, it's for the entire campus proper. This is going to be adjoining the band section, or the band wing, so to speak, when it comes to Plymouth High School. We received bids on September 6th and are presenting those here for your guys' information today.
So Brian, can I just provide some context?
Absolutely.
So the operable partitions for folks is when we did the theater edition, in the second floor of the theater, in the balcony, there were pop partitions that could be used to enclose that space to make them as learning spaces that were there. And unfortunately, those partitions were not really functional in the old ones, and they were removed as part of the upgrade, the fantastic upgrade that we did with theater. But now they're coming back. We're putting new operable partitions in. And then for the band room was something that was originally considered as part of the work that we were doing with the natatorium, which is the new Plymouth pool. But when we met with the band room, with the band directors and the stakeholders as part of that process, there was a determination that the original design that had been considered there was not sufficient to meet the needs of the band program. So they're using the space for a practice space, they're using it for winter guard and other things, so we needed to raise the height of that space, as well as make the space bigger than what had originally been intended. So that's why it came back as part of an additional project that's being considered here today. So this will be an indoor practice space that will be used. It's got a high enough ceiling to support the winter guard and the flags that are part of that process. And it was really designed specifically to meet the needs of the band program and the work that they're doing there. And so normally we would have some beautiful pictures that we've seen in the F&O meeting that would illustrate that, but that's the narrative around that process.
Thank you for that. And maybe we could scroll to the bid summary. So in total, over about 21 bid divisions, we received up to 98 proposals, which is excellent. Individually, and if we could scroll down to the one that has a lot of fine print, keep scrolling to the end. If you can keep scrolling.
That's the big spreadsheet.
That's the one. So we received 98 proposals over those 21 bid divisions. Some of those bid divisions or scopes of work had upwards of 7 proposals submitted, which is great. 3 is great, 4 is great, 7 is excellent. There were a couple that we received either less than 3 or in one case 1 individual proposal, and that one was actually specifically for the Salem operable partitions, specifically for those partitions in particular. Over the last year, we've been in contact with, there's really 2 in the state of Michigan that do this type of work, one of which that has been ongoing interest, and in addition to being publicly advertised, only 1 submitted. In fact, it was the one who had previously submitted proposals along this process, which was in the same price range as they had previously submitted. So from a cost perspective, it's directly in line with what we have seen previously. Other than that, I direct your attention to 2 other scopes of work in which we are recommending somebody other than the low qualified bidder, or the low qualified bidder was somebody other than the person who was read low. In bid division 106, masonry, that Connolly Masonry was actually read 3rd low. The first low bidder had insufficient paperwork in their proposal, therefore not qualified to be recommended here today. The second low bidder actually incorrectly filled out their materials, and so in fact they were actually almost the 3rd highest, not the 2nd lowest. And then bid division 118 is the carpet resilient flooring. Cones Commercial Flooring is being recommended today as the lowest bidder. Had an insufficient scope. They didn't include everything as part of their proposal. Of those 98 submissions, 2 of those businesses were women-owned companies, 5 of those were minority-owned companies, 39 union, 50 non-union, and 2 of those were other affiliations. In this particular instance, those other affiliations were veteran-owned companies. In totality of those 98 that are being recommended today, one of those is one of those businesses, and that is a veteran-owned business that is bid division 130 window treatments, which is shear shop. So we separated this. I'm going to go through the budget summary, if that makes sense, and then I'll circle back to the presentation. We segmented this into 2 separate budgets. The Salem operable partitions will be coming out of the 2019 bond fund. Therefore, it has a separate budget in and of itself. And the band room would be coming out of the 2020 bond fund. Construction budget of $3.3 million with an award recommendation of $2,766,101, which would leave a positive variance of $539,899. And then the Salem operable partition budget was $333,000. We did not receive a carpentry bid on this particular scope of work, so you will see an allowance of $50,000 placed in this overall summary. You will not find it in the award recommendation. So our recommendation, we will solicit proposals from the recommended contractors so we can still have competitive quotes, but wanted to give you at least an overall all-in picture as far as the budget is concerned. And then the Salem operable partition costs, which includes the partitions themselves, as well as the electrical infrastructure associated, leaves us with a positive variance of $17,355. With that, we'll circle back to this presentation. We'll reemphasize the context that we established early on, and then we'll kind of skim over some of the information that we already mentioned. And I'd offer up Derek Dinkaloo to kind of describe some of these photos.
Yes, good evening. So as Brian mentioned, this addition is on the southwest side of Plymouth High School, where the existing band rooms are now. And as Member Kehoe mentioned, if you go to the next plan, it's really sized for this Winter Guard program, but can also be used and will be used for other group activities. So it's really just a large room. And then if you scroll, the vocabulary is to fit in with the existing building, but you can see there again, as Member Kehoe said, the height that's required for that program.
And this is just kind of a blow up of the snapshot that we just kind of went through as far as overall budget and the 2 separate budgets that we're tracking. And if you went to the last slide, as far as I overspoke. That's on me. The next slide. As far as schedule is concerned, we, with the board's approval at the next board meeting, we would plan to break ground in December in anticipation for a turnover of the band room this August.
So for our other board members in the community here, some additional topics that we talked about in F&O, parking. The trailers that are currently supporting the ban process, some of those trailers are being disposed of and the equipment's being moved into other spaces. Some of those trailers during the construction will be moved over to the salt barn, which is right on the property for the high school. So we're not expecting any parking spaces to be used in this process, and we will be freeing up some parking spaces towards the end of this month as part of the natatorium addition. So we'll be able to address some of the parking shortages that we have at the high school.
Fantastic. All right, questions. We'll start with Josh and Saeed.
No questions. Thank you for all your hard work.
No questions. Thank you for all your hard work.
Can you go back to the slide that has the where the addition is going to be? I'm trying to. Where is
Maybe go one back, if you
the
could.
natatorium in
There
this?
you go.
Oh, so, up to the right,
Okay.
yeah.
The black.
Okay. All right. So it's like on the opposite. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the natatorium is at the competition gym, and the new band room is at the music wing.
Okay. Got it now. I'm directionally challenged. All right. Patrick answered my question about parking, so thank you.
I just want to thank the community for their support for this bond project. All the great work that we're doing throughout the district, this is possible from the support of the community in this process.
Just want to echo Member Kehoe's points. Thank you for the work. Thank you to the community. These are much needed upgrades to our buildings, and they will benefit students and staff and the whole community. Thank you.
Yeah, I echo my colleagues' sentiments. I am also pleased that the bid awards are under our budget. This is a positive trend, as past projects have been, coming in a little bit higher. So I appreciate your hard work and creativity and kind of flipping the bidding timing to kind of capture that. I do have a question about this. This is not something we hit on F&O, but I was thinking about it. In past projects, we had to do some creative value engineering in terms of LED lighting or pulling some things out of the projects to fit within those budgets. Did we have to do any VE gymnastics for this particular project that we may have to come back and address and bundle at a later date?
I guess I would say no. I would say that in collaboration with the band director and the team at Plymouth, we wanted to make sure we hit the needs, which this project does. And if it wasn't a need, then that's something that is potentially a conversation for a later date. But we wanted to make sure we prioritize what was a need, and if it was a want or something, man, that'd be nice later down the road. That's not necessarily something that fell into this project, but certainly hit all those needs to make the program work.
Okay, great, thank you.
And just for context on this particular one is an increase in the scope because the need was greater than what had been originally considered in the initial bond work that was done. So that's why this is here at this time. So we make those trade-offs in some cases to make sure we right-size the need with the work, and that's the work that our construction managers, our architects, the administration does with the stakeholders as part of these projects.
I don't have any more questions, but thank you for the presentation and all the work you put into that.
I don't have questions either, but thank you. As a parent who had a child who did winter guard for years, they would wander the building looking for practice space because they need the high ceiling, and then that might displace other groups that didn't need a high ceiling. So this benefits a lot of the students, and also ideally it will help to drive some interest in some of our music programs. So thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, action item 240913, consider approval of resolution for purchase of 2 GMC terrain SUVs for the Safety and Security Department. This is the final reading.
Mr. President, I move that we consider approval of resolution for the purchase of 2 GMC Terrain SUVs for the Safety and Security Department. Final reading, action item 240913.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'm going to give it to Judy. I'm going to give it to Member Webster. All right, it was close. So I'm going to give it to you, Judy. All right, any questions?
Just as a reminder for everybody, we discussed this at the last board meeting, as well as the FNO.
All right. No questions? All in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed say no? All right. Passes 7-0. Next up, action item 240914. Consider approval of resolution for a purchase and implementation of voiceover equipment for 9 district elevators. This is also the final reading.
Mr. President, I move that we consider approval of a resolution for purchase and implementation of voice over IP equipment for the 9 district elevators. Final reading, action item 240914.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion, any questions?
Also discussed at the last meeting and in FNO.
All right, all in favor say yes?
Yes.
Any opposed say no? Passes 7-0. All right, thank you. On to teaching and learning with Beth Rail.
Yep. So tonight, for your just for your awareness, we have 2 first reads that we'd like to bring forward. First read proposals. The first is for a whole class novel for African American literature. This is an 11th grade year-long elective course. You'll remember back in January, I believe it was last year, there were 4 new year-long courses approved at the board level. This is one of those courses. The full class novel that is being recommended by the team at PSEP is Homegoing by Ya Geizy. And it is a fictional account of 2 half-sisters who were born in different villages in 18th century Ghana. And there's information about the novel here, but I'll just kind of give an overall synopsis of it, which is it shows both ends of the slave trade. So 2 sisters who are, one marries into one side of the slave trade by marrying into a British colonial family, and then the other sister is captured into slavery and enslaved in the United States. So as it works through multiple generations, 8 generations, it runs from the Gold Coast to the plantations of Mississippi and from the American Civil War to Jazz Age Harlem. So this whole class novel kind of encompasses many of the eras that the African American literature course studies, so it becomes like an anchor novel for the course. A couple of things to know about novels. Because it is a whole class read, it is brought forward to the whole Board of Education through SPA first. Members of the SPA community were given the opportunity to read the book in advance, and we discussed this extensively at our SPA committee meeting. And then normally you'll only see things that come above the board threshold. You'll notice that this is not anywhere near that number because it's whole class novels, though, that we would discuss it at the board table. So total cost for 125 copies of the novel would be approximately $1,450. And so I just want to open it up to any questions that you might have. There are also members of the curriculum and instruction team here. If there are any questions that we need to also ask them to come to the podium to answer, which is Kevin Carr, who's our Executive Director of Curriculum Instruction Assessment and Professional Development, and Jan Douglas, who is our Curriculum Coordinator for ELA and Media. So I'll open it up right now, and any members of SPA that want to kind of talk about the
Yeah, I was going to say,
process as
members,
well. Yep.
do you have any further context?
No, just wanted to add so the community is aware. We discuss these things thoroughly in student performance and achievement, what we call SPA. So you keep hearing SPA. I just want you to know the full name behind it. I appreciate the teacher, the staff that came forward and shared their rationale, the why, and really the perspective of the novel. And I believe Member Westron, another committee member who is a community member, have read the book. I just started, so I think this is a great addition to the curriculum. And again, I respect the staff that come forward and recommend these things.
We'll open it up to, or did you want to add?
I'd just like to echo what Member Sadhu said and say that I highly recommend the book for anyone that wants to read it. It's an excellent novel. Just even not being in the class, it's excellent. So I thank everyone that was involved in choosing it, and I look forward to hearing great things from the class.
Great. So we're going to start with Member Kehoe and then work our way around this way.
I don't have any questions. Thank you for vetting this book and going through this process and sharing it with us. It sounds interesting.
No questions, but this sounds amazing. Thank you.
I have personally read the book, and it is amazing, so I highly recommend it to anyone else who has not read it yet.
Nice.
I read the synopsis, and I'm going to try to read it in my spare time.
All of it.
But I do appreciate the work of. I find that kids really like novels, and often they read a novel and something sparks their curiosity, and then they have a lot of questions about the actual events.
I'd like to see a copy of it, if possible. And I just had some concerns, maybe some of the content in it. Just from what I've read, I haven't read it, so I really don't want to speak to that till I actually look at it and read it. But I did see that it was kind of rated more in the R category, so I'd be concerned, is there parent permission on some of this, or of the content?
So books don't have ratings like PG?
No, I know it doesn't, but
Okay,
some of the
so I just
content-
wanted to clarify that. for
Well, I
the
just read
committee.
some reviews and that there was
Yep,
some
so-
content in there that might
Yep.
not be
So, yep,
considered
what we
appropriate
do
for
is
parents.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut
No,
you off.
no, no, that's fine.
Yep, so what we do is we ensure that all the novels are explicit in, not explicit, but explicitly outlined in the syllabus. And all of the courses in the 11th and 12th grade ELA courses, those are choice courses, so there are multiple course opportunities. So if a parent decides or a community member decides that they do not want their child to read a specific book or be engaged in specific content, they could choose a different course for
Okay,
their,
all right,
their
that's good to
young
know.
person too. So,
Okay,
but yes,
good
we
to
can
know.
provide
All right, but
copies.
yeah.
So.
Okay,
Beth,
thank
can
you.
I also
Yes.
add a point of clarification, which I didn't know until Beth mentioned it, because I've not looked at every course description. All approved materials are listed in the course or the course
Syllabus,
Syllabus,
yes.
thank you.
Yep.
Course catalog, that's what I was saying.
Great.
No questions, thank you.
All right, no questions.
So the second one, I have some stuff for you to look at. These are the same copies, 3 different copies, so if folks want to pass them along. So whenever we bring textbooks, we usually bring copies of them. This one's not as thick as some other ones, but it's still got some heft to it. So this is Advanced Placement Environmental Science. Again, this is a first read. AP courses or advanced placement courses for the community and for all the board members are courses that allow students to study college level material during high school. So the curriculum of AP is overseen by the college board. So it is very set curriculum, and generally speaking, there's usually about 10 to 12 different options of textbooks. It's not multiple options where you have hundreds of options. You can vet a bunch of different ones. But AP Environmental Science is a course that is designed to appeal from students from various interests. The course draws students from multiple science backgrounds and appeals often to students who are seeking careers in engineering, chemistry, biology, and other such careers. Students who perform well in this course and on the corresponding AP exam have the opportunity to earn up to 4 college credits while in high school. The College Board, again, outlines the materials. High school team reviewed multiple opportunities, all of the different resources, and moved a couple forward for review at a deeper level. Students reviewed them, looked at the online materials, and overwhelmingly the choice was AP Environmental Science for AP 4th edition that you see in front of you. The resource includes print textbook materials, AP assessment review guides, an assessment review questions, fully integrated and interactive ebook, adaptive online assessments, and AP practice exams. The cost all total for this resource and all of the materials along with it would be $53,664.19. And so this includes material for 275 students, which is we always get materials higher than the number of actual students enrolled at the present time to allow for additional materials to be available to students as well. So, and then we have Tanya McCrane with us as well in case there are additional questions. Tanya McCrane is our coordinator for science and health and PE and STEM. So if there are any questions beyond those that I can answer for you as well. So
we'll start with Josh, who probably read both of these books are? Right? Did you read both of these books? No?
I have not read them, no, but I did get to look at them in spa, and they look great. So great.
I just wanted to say that I'm currently taking this class, and I think that this book will really help out with the learning process. Thank you.
Great.
So we discussed this extensively in the SPA meeting, and one of the things that we all noted is that it's very current. I mean, you open up to one of the chapters, and they start each chapter with kind of a case study, and one of the case studies was the pandemic. So that's how current it is. It's 2 years old, or maybe even current.
Current.
So that's all. I think it's a great choice.
I want to take AP Environmental Science. It's a really cool book. So thank you for the work that went into this.
Probably provide you a copy for your leisure.
That's right.
There's a digital copy as well.
Yes, exactly.
No questions, just a comment. You know, I appreciate the thorough vetting of the material, and I like that you pointed out that the students also overwhelmingly chose this book, so they were a part of that decision-making process. So thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have no questions, sorry.
No, I also appreciate the having the student input into the books that they're going to use to learn.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Okay, on to citizens' comments. First up is Amanda Krinky. Just as a reminder, wait, is Amanda here? Thought I saw her. She might have left. All right, Amanda going once. Anna going twice. All right. Steve Gentilia.
All right, good evening. Thank you for allowing us the time to speak tonight. Just wanted to speak on the prioritization of your bond. It's out of place. To spend $3 million on a band room is wrong right now. You've got fields deteriorating, buildings crumbling that need to be fixed, that are seen by many people outside this community. People come here and we are the laughing stock of the KLA, which is one of the largest conferences in the state of Michigan. Brighton, new facilities. Downriver Schools, new facilities. Garden City, new facilities. Everybody has new facilities except us. Plymouth was built 20 years ago. Canton has not had upgrades to their baseball or softball fields ever, except by parents and boosters. Why? But we continue to find money to make these band room replacements and adjustments and upgrades. Our prioritization is out of place. There's got to be a way to correct this. It's just talking with other parents that are involved in the sports and the athletics here, it's beginning to feel like there's not going to be anything left for the things that we were promised in the bond. From the fields, to the new baseball, softball fields, to the upgrades to the stadiums, to the new stadium for football, that services way more students than the band room. From soccer, lacrosse, football. It's just your priorities are way out of whack. And it's becoming visible to everybody. Livonia Schools, LPS has had in the past 20 years 2 upgrades to their outdoor facilities. 2. And we haven't upgraded ours once. Why? It's wrong. We make the upgrades to everything else except athletics. Coaches have a huge impact on students just as teachers do. And that's sound mind, sound body. Those are the principles that Brighton has built that new, gorgeous facility on. If any of you have an opportunity to see it, drive out there and see it. It's beautiful. Completely brand new indoor facility, outdoor facility, state of the art. And you know what? They don't have pay to participate fees, but we do. Why? Where's that money go? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Kevin Schenke.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Kevin Shanky. I am a graduate of Canton High School, class of '94, and I'm a parent of a freshman at Canton this year. I was an athlete and was very proud to be a chief, as I am still today. But what I'm not proud of is the poor example being set by the board members. It is obvious by the decisions you made a couple months ago that you only had your interest in mind and not those of the students. You have taken our kids' identities away. Let me give you two examples. 2 weeks ago, our kids had to play an away game in Northville, and they became the butt of a joke. Written on the sidewalk in chalk, big letters, you don't even have a mascot, with arrows pointing where the football team is supposed to go to the locker room. Then, last Thursday, at the JV home football game, very first football game they've had, we were referred to as the Cantons. The Cantons, first down Cantons. What the heck is a Canton? Then you go to Friday afternoon's varsity Plymouth game. The Plymouth student section started chanting, "Who's your mascot? Who's your mascot?" Taking cheap shots at the Canton students. We're removing the Chiefs' name from our fight song that's been there forever, and other cheers. And if I recall, when you guys made your decision, it was made in part so that no student would feel outcast or have no sense of belonging. Well, you failed at that because you've singled out a whole entire student body. I'm really beginning to believe that we were not prepared for this name change. According to my son, there still has not been any discussion about when the vote's going to be or how they can put their suggestions in. They keep hearing rumors that the name's already been picked out. And in all honesty, it wouldn't surprise me if it already was. And if I could, I would urge all students, when it comes time to suggest a mascot, that they submit the Chiefs. There's no new uniforms. They're censoring out the word Chiefs. What will be next? And also, I don't know if you guys noticed, but today in the news, the Native American Guardians Association is suing the Washington Commanders to return their Redskins name and to put their emblem back on their helmet. And I just, I hear when y'all were talking, we have somebody on our board, their position is chief of something. Kind of ironic, they get to keep that, but we have to remove it from our students. Again, thank you for allowing me to speak. Thank you.
Oh, wait, I think I missed this person. Karen Gorney.
Good evening. There's a couple things I want to touch on. First was the Gallimore Award. As a former parent of a student that was from Gallimore and a tag student, I know this is solely due to Ms. Bell, the teachers, staff, students, and their parents at that school. So on to some unsettling news is Channel 4 put out the 2022 list of school districts rated best in the state of Michigan. Plymouth Canton is number 37. In 2017, we were number 15. This is a huge drop under our current superintendent. This shows she is definitely not worth the $399,000 she receives in wages and benefits. So on to the bid package. So with the band room, I kind of agree with the others that there's other things that need to be addressed first. I did look at the list of the contractors. I see the recommendations are the lowest bids, or mainly most of them the lowest bids. In my experience as a construction electrician that has worked on plenty of McCarthy and Smith's jobs, the lowest bid usually means unqualified, unskilled workers. From my actual experience working at Farmington High School with Max Electric, one of the ones that's recommended, they had the lack of knowledge to get a lot of the job done. They didn't even know how to wire a cabinet unit heater. They made such a mess of the control wires that I had to go back and fix it to make them work properly. I recommend that you go back through the list of contractors and review the recommendations. Don't pick the lowest bid. Go for the well-established contractors, the ones with all the licenses required by the state, because most of these contractors that are supposed to have electrical license do not. And go with the ones with the knowledgeable workforce to get the job done right the first time. Thank you.
All All right, Jody Hurtubise. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Jody Hurtubise, and I have an 11th grader at Canton and an 8th grader at East. And I would like to talk about the cost and the funding associated with the mascot change. At the last board meeting, it was stated that the cost of the change was $213,000, that parents would not be required to pay for uniforms, and that we had missed the deadline for funding, for grant funding. And according to that listing of $213,000 breakdown, it did not include warm-ups, accessory equipment bags, etc. So therefore, that $213,000 price tag is understated. And specifically, I'm going to speak for Canton, not for Canton Palm, as a Canton Palm parent. We have these jackets for the JV, and every team member has a backpack, which I was not able to bring because she's using it tonight, that also says Chiefettes. So the total cost to Canton Palm is between $1,000 and $1,500 for these two items, assuming that all returning members come back for next year. As this parent will not pay for that cost. I will not ask for fundraising from my family and friends to pay for that. That needs to be a cost that is paid for by the school. It is part of the required uniform of the participants. I paid for it once. That's my choice to have her in that sport. Secondly, I did not see in the price tag of $213,000 anything regarding making the proposed logo into something professional, making sure that it doesn't have any infringements of trademarks and logos, that it is something that will easily transfer in both stitching type stuff as well as print onto uniforms and spirit wear, nor that it's meeting any DEI guidelines to be gender neutral, etc. So I think that there's some missing costs there. And when you compare it to the amount paid by Okemos of $427,000, again, I feel that our cost is extremely understated. We will not receive, we missed the grant funding, so my question is, how will we pay for it? And what bucket are we taking from? And then, therefore, in conclusion, I'm asking that the mascot implementation plan be put on hold until an updated accounting of the whole cost and funding sources are shared with the organization. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Rocky Johnson.
Good day, everybody. Rocky Johnson, overactive parent, I guess. I'd like to share a story with you of Heartland football game 2 weeks ago. Our beloved Salem Rocks were taking on Heartland in their own, in Heartland 2 weeks ago. Some great things happened in that game, even though the Rocks came up a little bit short. A couple cool things that happened. One of our players, the quarterback, Braden Alexander, set an all-time school record for yards passed, 398 yards. Amazing for Salem to pass that many yards, but he did it. One thing interesting about that is that young man did that without the knowledge that his grandfather had a heart attack 20 minutes before. He's one another volunteer. He deals with all of our things like our video. He videos the game so the kids can watch it, break it down, learn, and get better. He suffered a heart attack 20 minutes before the game started in the press box. About 10 minutes into it, I went to the press box to continue on with the duties of setting up the game, and I was there. The trainer from Heartland was there. There was an EMT and a Good Samaritan doctor that was in the crowd. I watched them breathe life into him right there in the press box. One of the things they had to have is a defibrillator or an AED device. It was there on the wall in the press box. They grabbed it, shocked him back to life, and he regained pulse. They were able to get him out of the press box, get him to the EMT or an ambulance, into a local hospital, and saved his life. And the next day is I followed up with my friend, which is we formed our bondship playing football and track together at Salem back in the 90s. And now we're the parents donating our time for that as well. And when the conversation was just going on back and forth, like, how's your dad? How's things going? Is there anything I can do for you? The usual. The conversation turned to what would happen if that happened at the park. At the park, there is one defibrillator, or AED, I believe is what it's called. It's in the trainer's cart. The trainer is not always at the field. In some cases, let's say Salem tennis is playing and there's a Salem football game going on, they're about 900 yards in between, or a half a mile, between the tennis courts to the football field. There's not one at the press box. There's not one in the locker rooms. There's not one anywhere at that facility other than with the trainer. At Heartland, it's in the press box, trainer cart, outside each locker room. There's 4 or 5 of them. Their field is brand new, of course, just like we were already talked about, because everyone in our district has brand new stuff, but it's there. I don't think that it would have been there, and I don't think that he would have been saved. Something to think about.
Thank you. That does it for citizens' comments. We're on to action items, or a further action item, 230915. Consider approval of resolution for a Plymouth Township School Resource Officer. This is the final reading.
Mr. President, I move that we consider approval of a resolution for a Plymouth Township School Resource Officer. Final reading, action item 230915.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'm going to do, I'm going to give it to Member Sadoo. Any discussion, any further questions? All in,
I just had one question.
yes.
I just had a question on what was meant by them not responding, like if, part A, it said, that they wouldn't be able to, oh, I'm sorry, yep, sorry, Mike, got to scoot up. That they wouldn't be able to, oh, I wrote it down, I can't find it right. For a nonviolent disruptive behavior, that they couldn't interfere. And so I wasn't sure what that meant, like what would be a non-disruptive behavior? So like if they're in a hallway or something and something became disruptive, would they then just make a call to a school personnel? Or
Where are you looking?
I've been looking in section A.
The sections are numbered, so which
I mean,
section are you numbering?
A.
Well, there's sub numbers under each
Oh, I see
section.
what you're saying, yeah. Okay, maybe I have that. Okay, section 1, I believe. Let's see. Where's the section?
It's not in section 1. There's no language
No,
like
it's not
that.
in 1. It's in,
Oh, it's right there.
Under 6. So when you're looking at
6A.
non-disruptive,
Yeah, I
that's
should have
under the
printed it.
roles and responsibilities.
Right,
So when
the
you're
roles and
looking at
responsibilities, thank you.
school, the school administration is responsible for discipline. Our SROs are not responsible for discipline. So when you talk about a non-violent disruptive behavior, so if there's, argument or something along those lines, that school administration would be responsible for that. If there's something that is, that would escalate, that would be more disruptive, then that could be when police presence would intercede. But in general, day-to-day operations of the school administration is responsible for those disruptions.
Okay.
So maybe an example might be like
Yeah.
vaping, maybe, if they catch a kid vaping.
That's
in
still
there.
the school administration.
No, that's my point.
responsibility.
Correct.
Yes,
That
yes.
school, the SRO is not responsible for that.
Okay, so but if the SRO was present, something happened, would they then not say anything and just contact administrator?
Yeah,
They
the
would just
school
step aside?
administrator is responsible.
They wouldn't be
for
able to
discipline.
make a comment or anything like that?
Right,
and
the
decide to?
school-
Okay,
yes.
that's what I was curious. So they would, okay, so, and then I did have a question, what the, that it would promote fundamental fairness and that was section 1. Sorry, I should have printed this out. Where it says that they would, that having this enhances the cultural understanding and promotes fundamental fairness. So like, I didn't know how that applied. I mean, I kind of assumed that they've already come in with that kind of perspective. That, and it kind of sounds as if they're not coming in with that perspective. That's just how it sounds written.
I think that's really capturing, as Chief Nightel was here, just the vision.
Okay.
So it's
More of
what
a
they
vision
currently are doing and saying that they would continue to
Okay,
commit
and
to
they
that.
already saw and agreeing on.
Oh, yeah,
doing
so
this.
this
Okay.
is, we've gone back and forth.
So
You
they
gave
got it,
edits,
okay.
they've given edits, and so we've arrived at
All
this
right.
final look.
All right, then they're good then.
All right. And this is also based upon the same agreement that we have, or a similar agreement that we have with Canton Township. So a lot of the language mirrors what we did with the SROs that we're paying for that are on our art facility from Canton Township.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Any further questions?
Just, we discussed this at previous board meetings and a number of other sessions leading up to this, so.
Correct. Josh? Saeed? No? All right, all in favor say yes?
Yes.
Any opposed say no. All right, it passes 7-0. Okay, on to follow-up board questions.
We had really a long-term question from Member Sadoo about an end-of-the-year impact report. So we did plug that. I think we saw that last evening on our upcoming presentations to just make sure that we capture that. That was around the SRO program.
Okay. Other questions? No. So one question for me, maybe in board notes, you know, we hear about the facilities, and it's my understanding that sports facilities specifically, it's my understanding that improvements are captured in the bond. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a number of things happening in the bond. So we're actually in the design and architecture phase for this the Canton stadium that's there, as well as phase 3 additions, and then there's a whole laundry list of things that are coming as part of that program. So one of the things that we've been getting a number of questions here in citizens' comments over the last few weeks, and one of the things that we discussed in F&O is that we probably need to do another presentation for the community on the bond programs and the activities that are coming up as part of that process. So we'll be looking for, considering doing a webinar to help us educate the community on the different programs that we have. And also, as I mentioned earlier, if you go to the district's website, you can get a lot of information about the programs that are coming as part of that. But we'll try to provide some more details around the timing for some of those projects, because I think that information is not present there.
That was gonna be my request, is that the website be updated to include more of the timing, especially now that, I mean, it's been since 2020. Right, a lot of what is on there has been completed at this point.
Yeah, and timing's subject to change, but, you know,
But at
it'd be the
least-
directional,
Right.
the order would be one of the things
Right,
we'd be able to
exactly.
clearly articulate.
And that was going to be my next question, maybe in board notes as well, if you can provide it, is, you know, as we have citizens' comments or people email, are we informing them that these facilities are being addressed in the bond, and these are the items, here's a link, here's the timing? Are we providing that communication?
Yes, we are.
We are, okay, great. So if you could just maybe send it out to the board, it'd be great. It'd give us some talking points in case we are approached by someone in the community, say, hey, what's going on with the facilities? You know, we're ready to say, hey, this is being addressed. We have a new stadium coming. We just built an auditorium. We're doing this, we're doing that, and provide more context, because otherwise it'll just continue to spread that we're not addressing this, and obviously we are addressing it through the bond. So that way we can make sure that we have the latest information on it.
And can I say something? And also too, the difference between maintenance and bond, you know, like what would fall under the maintenance on that
Yep,
whole
it's a good
stadium?
question.
In the repairs, is that under maintenance or is that under bond?
Right.
It's a great question. That's under maintenance. So the bond program is for capital improvements. That work was really, did not fall into the category of things for, I'm sorry, this is for the subject that Mr. Johnson brought up with the Canton concession and the problems with the soffit there. That building is subject for renovation in a future project, but the repairs on that building are done as part of the maintenance process. So repairs or maintenance.
Fix it now!
Hey, calm down.
Don't double spend.
Calm down.
You're double spending.
Get out. That literally serves no purpose. And it's disrespectful to the community, it's disrespectful to our students, and it's disrespectful to this board. That has no purpose. It serves no purpose, that kind of immature outburst.
So, as a reiteration, repairs are part of the maintenance process. Capital improvements are part of the bond. So, if we're doing a major renovation, it's bond.
All right. Anything else? Any other questions?
So, I'd also like to point out, just so we all keep remembering, that when the facilities were being discussed during the bond steering committee, the middle school principals worked together very collaboratively and deciding what they would need also to support middle school athletics. And so some of the purposes of some of the renovations, because we lost a pool at Central Middle when that was closed, and also a track. So some of those renovations and upgrades are also to help support middle school athletics.
Yeah. Let me say this as well. So a couple things. When you knowingly spread false information and you rile up the community, that's the kind of outburst that can happen. That's the kind of outburst that can happen. And what I'm going to request right now is that moving forward, we have security at this meeting, because you never know how far someone will go when they show that kind of emotion. And we need security here at every meeting to make sure that everyone in this room, we have students present, we have families present, right? I want to make sure I'm going to go home to my family every night. And that kind of uncontrollable, angry outburst, you don't know how far someone will take that. And we have to take it serious. I won't ever sit back and say, I wish I had done more to protect this body, protect these students, protect families. Happy to have a conversation afterwards. So Dr. Merritt, I'm requesting that we have that at the next board meeting. If anyone would ever like to have a civil conversation one-on-one, I personally welcome that every time. I do it on emails. I do it when I walk out of this room. Very happy to have one-on-one conversations. That's out of control. With that, I'll adjourn at 8:21.